So today we are going to be diving into some rather some rather serious subject matter. I would say that since our discussion of the Taiping Rebellion, that is that's the last time that we encountered a period of such widespread instability, destruction, and loss of life. If the Taiping Rebellion, by its end, claimed somewhere in the order of 30 million to 50 million lives, the Second World War, or as it's known in mainland China, the 8-year War of Resistance against Japan, claimed the same, an estimated 30 to 50 million dead in the span of those 8 years. And so, what we're going to walk through today is a discussion of we kind of left this last time with a continued discussion of the rise of Japanese power in the region, but the central question that we need to deal with is why at this particular moment did the nature of Japanese empire in East Asia change so dramatically? This transition from informal empire to formal empire, that is, from a posture in which Japan, much like many European imperial powers, did not have a did not have an interest in taking over large swaths of territory in the Qing, or now in the Republican China. Rather, they were content to extract economic benefits by way of unequal treaties or 99-year leases and a variety of other technologies. But there was no effort by any of the parties involved to undertake in China what we see in South Asia, in Burma, in French Indochina, in the scramble for Africa. But that will change, and the main party here is Japan. And so it's counterintuitive but we need to remember that the war we're about to examine was not the war that Japan thought it was going to have, and indeed didn't necessarily think of it as a war. It was something that was supposed to sort of proceed in a certain way, and that steadily ground down into just a bloodletting without end. And just to anticipate where we're going to get by the midpoint of the first half of the discussion, so roughly the quarter mark or somewhere around there, is the moment in the war when Japanese war planners, in essence, start assessing their status, quite literally, how much oil they have left, how much capacity for waging war they have left, and that triggers and really lays the groundwork for the fateful decision to expand the theater of war dramatically, which in the United States we know as Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was a sort of second phase act of desperation, in a certain sense, that was coordinated with many other attacks on European colonial outposts and American colonial outposts in Asia, but then extended as far out into the Pacific as the attack on Pearl Harbor. And so this is this is not something that when it begins was meant to unfold in the way it did. So we're going to talk about why informal empire gives rise to formal empire, and then also how this targeted military action that Japanese military planners had in mind unfolded into what becomes a war without end, and that would have dragged on a great deal longer had it not been for the invention of a new and unprecedented form of death, that is the nuclear armaments.